Today I'm going to be showing you how we solved exercise 4, Univariate Statistics. So here we have the frequency table, and exercise 1 is to draw a histogram to represent this data. So we put on the x-axis the calories taken for lunch because it's the independent variable, and on the y-axis the frequency because it's the dependent variable. So we wrote the scale and we complete with the table given. So for a frequency of 1, the x goes from 100 to 150. So for a frequency of 1, x goes from 100 to 150, and we marked it. Then for a frequency of 3, x is between 150 and 200. Then for a frequency of 2, x is from 200 to 250, and so on. Then exercise 2 says to calculate an estimate of the mean and standard deviation. So for the mean, what we did was, first we had to calculate the x, because here is it gives us two numbers, so we have to find the number in the middle, an average of these two numbers. So to do this, we did 100 plus 150 divided by 2, that is the average, or you could just solve it mentally. Like the number between 100 and 150 is 125, between 150 and 200 is 175, between 200 and 250, 225, and so on. Once we got all those numbers, we had to multiply them by the frequency, by the corresponding frequency. This is the formula that we have written down here. 125 times 1 plus 175 times 3, and so on. Then once we solved all of that, we have to divide by 21. By 21 because it's the total frequency, where we added all these numbers up and it gave us 21. Once you do that, it gives you 296. Then it says to find the standard deviation, that as we were on a rush on the test, we did it with the GDC, as we didn't know how to do it analytically. We know that it's wrong, but I wanted to tell you how we did it with the GDC. So we went to menu, stat, on list 1, we typed all the x values that we found out, 125, 175, and in list 2, we wrote down the frequencies. Then you go to calc, set, list 1, and for frequency list 2, one variable, and here is the standard deviation, 90.7. We now realize that we should have used, this formula over here. Well, the next one is what percentage of the data is less than 350, round to one decimal. Okay. So to do this, first we had to know which part of the table represented less than 350. We found out that it was up to here, because from here on the numbers are greater than 350. So what we did was sum all the frequencies that represented less than 350. So we did 1 plus 3 plus 2 plus 5 plus 4, and it gave us 15. So now we use the regla of tres simple, where 100% represented 21, that is all the frequencies added up, and we wanted to know what percentage of the table, what percentage represented this part of the table. So x 15, and this is how we solved it, and it gave us 71.5%. Next, it says what percentage of the data is what percentage of the data is greater than 400. We did the same thing, but the other way around. We found that from the table, this represented greater than 400, because we would have added the 3, but it has 350, so it's not greater. This is the only part, so we did 2 plus 1, and it gave us 3. And we did it the same way as the other, with the regla of tres simple. 100% represents 21. What percentage represents 3? And this is how we solved it, and it gave us 14.3%.